We'll get started here in about 5 minutes, everyone. Thanks for being on. Hopefully get some more CKI members popping on here as we get closer to 8 o'clock.
Hey guys.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Got a couple more minutes before it becomes 8 o'clock. So we'll wait to get some more folks on. If you're just getting on, if you can be sure to mute yourself. We'll use the chat function throughout the night to ask questions. Well, it looks like it's 8 o'clock, so we can go ahead and get started. And it looks like we have about 100 people on, and I hope that we get a few others. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jeff Harris, and I'm the director of Circle K International with Qantas. So again, thank you everyone for being here tonight. We are obviously facing some challenges heading into this school year with COVID changing everything about everything. And so we wanted to use this opportunity to kind of come together and give you some tips and tricks and tools to navigate the future. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Tana Early, CKI president. She wants to say a few words before we introduce our speaker. Tana?
Thanks, Jeff. Thank you guys all for being here. I really appreciate you guys taking the initiative to better your clubs. So just a couple of international announcements and updates. We do have our international committee member applications out. They're ready to go. They're due September 11th at noon if you're interested in applying. We are also putting together a diversity, equity, and inclusion task force. The application for that is due September 4th at noon Eastern time. We also have a new program called CKI Zoom Mates, which is a way to match with people and be partnered up across Circle K International. We have a first deadline of September 13th. That's like our early bird matching. And then our final deadline is going to be on September 30th. So last thing, we do have a quick informal folder for COVID resources that I'm just going to throw all of these links in the chat for you guys right now. And hopefully that will help y'all have an awesome fall semester. So thank you guys so much for being here. I'll turn it over to Matt.
Well, thanks, Tana. I am thrilled to be with you all this evening. My name is Matt Mattson, and I get to talk about recruitment. This is what I do. I help groups grow. I think I was put on this earth for a simple reason, that is to gather people together to talk about the important stuff of life. And CKI is such a beautiful manifestation of that. You not only get together to talk about the important stuff of life, you get together to do the important stuff of life. And you know, that's what our company, the Social Excellence Project, is about. We are on a mission to spread human connection. And we've been partnered with CKI for several years now to help build a strategy and a system to attract, select, and secure the right people for CKI to do the important work. Now is not the time to stop changing the world. I read that someplace. I might have written it. I'm not sure. I've lost track of everything that I read, every meme or post or quote about things that are happening in the pandemic, but I like it. Now is not the time to stop changing the world. Now is not the time for CKI to allow this situation to be a meaningful obstacle to the impact that you'll make. You know, we've had a philosophy in our partnership together that I share every time I work with CKI, no matter if I'm working with governors or club leaders, district leaders, or whatever you all got. That philosophy is simple. More people equals more impact. More people equals more impact. We know that if we can bring in more people to the CKI experience, it not only is a life-changing gift for them that empowers them to find purpose in their college experience and purpose in their life and impact the world in the ways that they know they want to, but it also helps our group expand our capacity and potential for impact. Now is not the time to stop changing the world. More people equals more impact, which means that at least for this hour, let us focus our attention on one giant task in front of us. How do we find and attract and secure the right people for CKI right now, no matter the mediums that we've got to use to do it? So again, my name is Matt Mattson. I'm the president and co-founder of the Social Excellence Project and several other brands. I'm an entrepreneur. I've given a couple TED Talks. I've written some books. This here isn't about me, though. This session is about you. I do encourage you, though, to feel free to take a picture or a screenshot or something so you've got all my contact information. You can follow me right there on the Instagram, and we can connect over email or text message. That's my real phone number. You can text me right now and just be like, hey, Matt, I notice you. That's fine. I might text you back. I might not, because I get thousands of text messages, but I love it when, if you need something, let me know. This is my job. I want to help Circle K grow. So that's me. I'm excited to work for you. And so let's talk about recruiting people into CKI in 2020. Let's talk about some realities of this particular moment. The pool will be shallower. We know this. There are fewer students showing up to college this fall. There are fewer students enrolling in the colleges that they intended to enroll in. There are fewer students actually physically spending any time at all on college campuses. And there are a lot of students who yesterday said that they were going to go to this school, and today they're like, you know what? Nah. And there is so much uncertainty in our incoming student classes and in our classes of returning students. Many of you are probably already starting to feel that in your clubs. Students you thought you had last year You don't even know if they're showing up. And let's be honest, for good reason. These students are real human beings who have some real struggles and real challenges with their families and their lives back home. And they're trying to navigate an unnavigatable situation for many of them. There's students who are really struggling with places to live, and students who are really struggling with social unrest and how to navigate that and how to show up on college campuses during this moment. There's students who are struggling with finances, students who are struggling with concerns of all sorts. And we need to, as humans, empathize with that, but also recognize the challenge that it provides and delivers to our organizations. The buyers will be broker. And this is for all student organizations, right? Anybody who's showing up to a college campus this year has a heightened level. They already did, because we knew this about this incoming generation, you all. We already knew that you were financially conservative and thoughtful based on what you went through growing up through an economic crisis and through a whole post 9/11 world and a post 2008 world. Like, we already knew that this was all part of your DNA, this financial conservatism and a practicality and a pragmatism. But this incoming class and current students just spent a summer where their parents, one of their parents might have lost a job, or a family member lost a job, or somebody who supported them might have lost a job, or their jobs are uncertain, or those students didn't get the internship or the summer job or the co-ops that they wanted to over the summer, which they normally would have used to spend money on either club membership or t-shirts and events and fun things that we would get to do together, the little things that cost real money. So students are going to be broker. The conversations in recruitment will be digitaler. Yeah, I know that's not a real word, but as it turns out, building a conversation via Zoom, or building a relationship via Zoom, or building a club or a group, or facilitating a group dynamic via Instagram DMs, it's hard, and it's different than what we're used to. The events will be smaller, if at all. In most places, an event of more than 10 people is a complete absurdity. That's not something that is happening. And I hope it's not primarily because I don't want CKI to be a spreader of the COVID. Like, straight up, we are here to do service. We are here to make the world a better place, not to make the world a sicker place. And this could not be more serious. And finally, the parents will be scareder. I know that's not a word either, but parents and significant others and key influencers in students' decision-making process about what they get involved in, they're going to be just offering warnings, warnings, warnings. Careful, careful, careful. Groups bad. Groups who hang out with other people, that's bad, that's scary, that's dangerous. And so we've got to be thoughtful about this. Put yourself in the shoes of an incoming student or a returning student who you might think of as a prospect for CKI. Put yourself in their shoes and think about what their real life concerns are. And realize this, now more than ever, maybe, they need a place to belong. They need fellowship. They want leadership development. They want to prepare themselves for their career, and they want to serve the world. They want to make the world a better place. So we can't let this moment, as difficult as it is and as challenging as it is, we can't let this moment be an obstacle to changing lives and changing the world. Now is not the time to stop changing the world. So we know something really simple and something really true. Recruitment for any organization, student organization or not, has always been a relationship business and will always be a relationship business. People join people is about as cliche as it gets in recruitment training. People join people. You've got a person. Everybody, let's play it right now in the chat feature. There's like hundreds of you right now. Put in the chat feature the one person who you would give credit to. Who's the one person who's responsible for your membership in CKI? Who is that person? Maybe they didn't recruit you, but they're the reason you stayed. Man, this is such a people business. Put it in the chat feature. Put the name of the one person who's responsible for you being a member of CKI. Somebody sent it to me privately, and I appreciate that. But you can send it to everybody. There they come. Here we go. Everybody just put it in the chat feature if you can. If you can, send it to everyone in the mid. Oh, it can't be sent publicly. What's up, CKI? Let's open it up. Let's open up that chat. But everybody's sending me privately. Right? I got names like Kathy and Amy and Catherine and Mary Lynn and Daniel and Amy and Scott and Kyla. And these are real people, real human beings who gave the gift of membership. It's so important to just take a moment to reflect on that, reflect on your own joining process, reflect on how there was trust built and there was authentic human connection built. And yeah, you were both service-oriented people, but as it turns out, there's a bunch of ways to do service on a college campus. And so just thinking that people are going to join because you do service is unrealistic, because there's like 1,000 ways that I could get involved in service stuff on a college campus. And there's 1,000 ways I could do leadership development on a college campus. And there's 1,000 ways I could find fellowship and belonging and connection on a college campus. And so what's the difference maker? What's the thing that turns somebody from a student to a CKI member? You. For that one person. And it's so important that many of those relationships this year will be built not in person, or not while we're sitting next to each other at an icebreaker that our RAs led, or at a student organization fair with thousands of people walking around an event center or a campus quad. They'll be made in virtual environments. So we got to get good at virtual relationship building. And friends, some of us are not good at virtual relationship building. You know, for a long time, I've taught a lot of CKI members, and I've taught a lot of people, CEOs, I've taught this, I've taught college students of all sorts, I've taught high school students this thing that if you're a part of an organization, you want to recruit people into that organization, there's only one place where recruitment happens. It's not at your event or your student org fair. It's not on your website. It's not. It's not like in a building or on campus or in the quad. There's one place where recruitment into CKI happens, and I've always taught it like this: it's in the space between your members and prospective members, and the way your members fill this space right here, this space in front of them, because recruitment is a relationship business. The way your members fill this space determines your potential for recruitment success. If your members can build meaningful, authentic connection, if they can be curious, generous, authentic, and vulnerable, if they can care, if they can empathize, if they can ask questions and bring good energy, like in this space, the way they fill that space. And of course, I always teach that the way we fill this space is who we are as a human. Humans are social animals, and the only place we really exist is in this space between us and other human beings. And the way we fill this space is who we are. But anyway, back to recruitment. This is the only place where recruitment happens. And now, recruitment happens in this space, right here, this little box, or in your Instagram DMs, or on your Instagram profile, or in wherever you're actually having real connection conversations. Maybe it happens in person still, but now it's 6 feet apart and we're all wearing face masks. The way we fill this box is recruitment. This is about connection, human connection, real relationships. So, you know, if your standard Zoom login is you know, in a dark room and like this, and you're like so chill, if you're trying to be the chillest person on Zoom, guess what? You're likely to be building meaningful relationships is going straight downhill. Oh, by the way, hey, this semester, if you want your professor, like late October, when you get a term paper due or you get this big project due, you want your professor to give you a little bit of an extension. If you've been nothing but a black box on mute to them the entire semester, there's not a real good chance that they're going to care much about what your request is. Listen, life is about connections, and the way we fill this space matters. Now, this is not me saying you got to have an awesome background. Like, all I care, use a weird virtual background or have a blank wall, or you could be sitting in bed. That's all. That's fine with me. Just know that you're telling a story the way you show up here. And I want you to show up with energy. I want you to show up willing to connect. I want people to feel CKI when they're in this Zoom room with you. One way I've been thinking about this is the idea of just be extra. That's always been an insult that we'll use for some people, right? These people try hard, they try too hard. That guy's so extra. I don't think that can be an insult this year. I think extra is exactly what we need. In a world full of blank Zoom windows, people on mute, people out with their camera off, fine with me here today, by the way, you don't need your camera on. But in a world where that's the norm, if you're the person in the classroom with their camera on, like nodding at the teacher's every word, and your professor tells a bad joke and you laugh on mute, and you give thumbs up and hand gestures and you wave at people, that is what we got. Listen, let me be clear. I don't want this. I miss you in person. I miss human beings like in my life. I've been stuck in my home office here for months now, and I'm used to traveling and getting to visit colleges and conferences, and I miss that. But this is what we got. Let's maximize it. Let's show up here. All right. Now let's get into it. So forever, we've taught. Somebody says extra is my middle name. I'm looking at your comments. Hey, everybody who's playing in the chat feature, do it. That's where we get to be community right now. I welcome you into this chat feature. Be playful in here. You can like privately message people. You see somebody you met at a convention or a conference or a regional event or a district event or something, like reach out to them on here, say hi to them, pay attention to me. I'm saying important things here, but man, like that's where we are right now. Let's live there. All right. So forever, we've taught Circle K and really any membership organization that there is a basic process for growing your organization. Meet, record, invite, host, ask. Meet, record, invite, host, ask. And if your organization, if your club is doing recruitment in a smart way, you're realizing that the best and most important thing you can do is meet a lot of people. In a virtual world, that's hard. And I'm going to tell you specific ways that you can get results, but meet a lot of people. And then write down their name and contact information on a list someplace. And then invite them to do things with you, and then host them well with excellence and meaningful connection when you do that. And then at the end of the process, ask them to join. I know that's super simple and like elementary, but normally when I ask for the last several years, when I've bumped into a CKI person and said, hey, you're a club leader, what's your growth plan for this year? They've said, well, we got a table, we got a trifold thing that we put on the table, and then we have 2 events that we do and a student org fair. Okay, cool. Like that's something, but what's your growth plan? Well, that's it. Now, growth plan is about moving all these people. See all these people at the top of the screen? It's about moving those people into your funnel and then keeping track of them and building a relationship with them and slowly moving them through a process of relationship building. You know, for years we've taught CKI members and clubs to think about a letter ranking system. And so when somebody goes onto your names list, you just meet somebody. Hey, I just met Tana. She just DM'd our Instagram account. She's like, hey, CKI looks cool. Tell me about this event you got coming up. Tana goes onto my names list as a D. And after I've interacted with Tana a little bit and gotten to know her, and she's gotten to know us a little bit, she becomes a C. Then after a while, Tana shows interest in like, she's like, I really want to be a part of this thing. Like, can you tell me like, what's the obligations? What are the expectations? Tana becomes a B. And then when we're all like, man, we got to get Tana, we got to lock her in. Tana is an A. That's when it's ready. We're ready to ask her, right? D, C, B, A. We're just walking Tana. I'm going up, but on the funnel, this is about moving down the funnel, right? This is about going from a stranger to an acquaintance, to a friend, to a prospect, to a hot prospect, to a new member. And if we think that way, the reason that's important is because we stop thinking about recruitment as telling the world about our organization, and instead start thinking about recruitment as moving Tana through our process. As soon as it becomes individual, then the people on your list are what you focus on, not the events you have planned. The events you have planned are specifically built for the people on your list. That's just a reversal of the way almost all student organizations recruit. And I think CKI can set itself apart, especially in this weird virtual world, by really focusing on this funnel process and thinking about individual prospects as the thing that you're aiming at and working through the process. So just so you all know, I'm going to go through some really tactical stuff on how to do recruitment in a weird virtual pandemic-filled world. And then at the end of that, I mean, everybody take notes because I'm going to give you like, do these things. Like I got several lists of do all these things just to make it as practical and specific as possible. Then at the end, I'll open it up to questions and we can kind of dig into questions. So if anybody's throwing questions into the chat feature right now, just so you know, I'm not seeing them. So be ready to repost them later on. It's cool with me if you're chatting in there otherwise though. All right. So if we think about that model, that funnel model, and the first thing we got to do is meet people and then put their names on a list, the question becomes, cool, what are the best ways to meet people and put their name on a list in a virtual world? These are the ways that we are working with student organizations of all sorts on college campuses to put names on their list, to meet non-member students so that we have a chance to recruit them. Remember, you can't recruit who you don't know. So until we've reached out to people, nobody's going to join. And again, some people might find you because they're really interested in service and you all are good at that, but they're likely going to find a bunch of other things too. And the question will be, why would they choose you? So the first best way to drive names onto your names list is mind joggers. This is an idea that we've taught Circle K to members to do for years. There's a video, there's actually a tutorial video featuring this guy right here, teaching you how to, like, literally doing the mind joggers exercise for you. I don't know if anybody can find that link and share it in the chat feature for people to remember that this is the place where you should start. Mind joggers is just about asking your current members, who do you know? That's it. But put all those names on a list and then start reaching out to those names. Not who do you know who you think might be interested. Nope. Who do you know? Start by networking. We want a lot of people in our funnel. The more people we have in our funnel, the more likely it is that some of those people are going to say yes and become an active member of our group. The second best way to drive names in a virtual environment is just through straight up Instagram work. Instagram's level of importance to organizational recruitment went through the roof about 4 months ago. Suddenly, we all have to be excellent at Instagram, and most of us aren't yet, so we'll get you there. But we got to be great at Instagram, and you got to be hot. Listen, you exist in like 2 places now. You don't exist on campus or in the student union or wherever you used to meet. You don't exist on the quad. You don't exist in student org fairs. You exist in 2 places, Zoom and Instagram, pretty much. I mean, maybe a couple other places, but Zoom and Instagram is your home, baby. You got to maximize this. So, you know, just doing some Insta work where you're searching for class of 2024. These are incoming students, class of 2025 or 2023, I guess, is sophomore students. You get the idea. We just want to reach out to them and connect with as many of them as possible. Here's what I recommend you do. Go to your Instagram account and follow all of them. Just follow. And if you're one of those people who are like, well, I want to be an influencer on Instagram, and so I want to make sure that my ratio of followers to followees is no, that doesn't matter today. Here's what matters. Go follow the people. And when they follow you back, they immediately get a DM that is super personal and proves that you're a human. Do not send them a mass DM like, thanks for following, here's our events. Don't do that. Make that DM say, Tana, so cool you followed me. Hey, I looked at your profile and I noticed you're actually from a town about 5 towns away from my town. That's so cool. Tana, what year are you here even if you already know? Tana, what year are you? And engage Tana in a conversation. This is about relationships. Referrals. Everybody, here's a fun exercise to do just for yourself. You don't have to share this with anybody. On a piece of paper or on your phone right now, I want you to write a list of 10 people you know on campus. 10 people you know on campus who are not a part of Circle K, but who are student organization leaders, RAs, orientation leaders, fraternity sorority leaders, people who are a big deal in your major, like whatever. I want you to think of 10 people who could be a source of referrals for you personally. Ideally, what you do is you get the workhorses of your club together and you do this exercise. You all write down your 10 people you think could be referral sources. And then you spend 20 minutes texting each of them, or 5 minutes texting each of them. It won't take that long. And we text them, and here's what we say. We say, Tana, it's Matt. Hope school's starting great for you. Hey, can we jump on the phone for 5 minutes? Our CKI club is doing something cool, and we need your help. And Tana's going to say, sure, how can I help? And you're going to say, you can help by letting me get on the phone with you for 5 minutes, because on the phone is where the magic's going to happen, or on video, whatever. And when you get on there, you're going to say, Tana, we're trying to just connect with some really service-minded, leadership-minded students on campus who we don't know. And I know you're connected to a different network than a lot of our club members are. Who do you recommend we talk to? In fact, Tana, who are 5 people you think I should text right now and just talk to them about Circle K and the opportunities we've got? Tana will apologize and she'll be like, oh man, I'm not sure I can come up with 5. Is 3 okay? And you'll say, yeah, 3 is okay. And your names list just grew exponentially. That referral work is super important. It cannot be impersonal. It cannot be like a DM on Instagram to some other club. It's like, hey, you know any people who should be in CKI? That will not work. It's got to be personal and direct. Chunking is about every prospective member should become 5 more prospective members. So maybe I have a little one-on-one interview with Tana, and we're talking about CKI. I'm like, so here's the pitch of CKI. It's a pretty great thing. Tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about some of the impact you want to make on the world, Tana. That's awesome. Quick question before we leave, Tana. Who are 5 friends you've got, 5 people you know in your network who you think we should be connecting with to have this exact same conversation? I'm ready to write them down. And Tana will be like, I don't know. I can only come up with 3. And you'll say, that's okay. 3 is just fine. Our names list is growing exponentially. And the way that we can grow CKI is really simple. It's through actual networking. Everything I just described, by the way, is what networking actually means. We use the word networking loosely in student organizations as though we mean it to be actually networking. What we really mean is just people we know because we're a part of the club. Networking is about intentionally building connections and tapping into their networks so that we can make the impact on the world that we want to make. So inbound marketing or forms, your Instagram link in your profile should be a form that I can fill out to say that I'm interested in CKI. Or you should have a link tree if you're not already using a link tree in your Instagram bio. And by the way, the front page of your club website, if you got one, should have a big old button that says I'm interested, and click it there, and so I can give you my name and contact information. There's 2 types of marketing, at least. One is called outbound marketing. Outbound marketing is about getting your name out there. You don't need to do that. If people are like, CKI, Circle K, they'll go buy gas. Like, getting your name out there doesn't get you anything except for a bunch of gas station consumers. However, getting names on your names list will get you an opportunity to build a relationship with people, and recruitment is a relationship business. So we want forms, and we want to use inbound marketing. Every marketing post drives people back to a form they can fill out. Hey, let us know you're interested here. Apply for a scholarship here. Enter a raffle here. All sorts of inbound stuff that we're doing to collect names and contact information. Last 2 things for driving names onto your list. Value add webinars and events. So if you're not already planning to host a big old campus-wide super service event as soon as possible, super virtual service event, where we're asking student organization leaders and people of all sorts on our campus to participate. And the point of it is to do service, but also to collect the names and contact information of everybody who comes and does service with you. Like, that's kind of a no-brainer of something we need to do. There's probably some national initiatives you can tap into to help with that. Or you could just do a webinar. Start advertising a 30-minute webinar on how to survive virtual classes on our campus, taught by 3 students. How to engage with like the top 10 student organization engagement opportunities on this campus. And Circle K is number 1, but like the other 9, you can promote other organizations. Whatever, you give value, provide value to current and incoming students, and they will participate because it's helpful for them, and you can collect their name and contact information and follow up with them about the opportunities that Circle K has to offer. And the last one is text for something. This is like my favorite marketing tactic right now. I wish everybody would do, like, campaign yard signs like that will show up in your neighborhood if they haven't already. I don't know why we don't just put thousands of campaign yard signs all over campuses or all over towns of campuses that say, text this number for whatever, to enter this raffle, or to get a scholarship application, or to tell us your 3 favorite, the 3 things you wish our service club would do service around this semester, or like whatever. But this is inbound marketing again, but it's a way to maybe do posters or yard signs or a billboard or like an Instagram paid ad, or like all of this stuff that is about getting people to text you information, their contact information, so that you can follow up with them. All right, I'm just cruising here, everybody. Whew. Hey, I'm just going to read this real quick, and then we're going to look at some Instagram accounts, and then I want you be thinking, don't do it yet, but if you think you got a hot club Insta and you want to share it, you got to share. You will get to share it, but you've got to share like something you do really well, and share that as a tip as your share. But don't do it yet. Your Circle K Instagram, your club profile. Here are some things that it should absolutely do. And then we're going to look at some that I like. I'm going to look at my 3 favorites that I found. I'm not going to show you the 10 unfavorites that I also found that I'm not going to share as an example. I'm just going to say that they exist, and some of you need a little love on your Instagram. No big surprise, by the way. A lot of student organizations do, but I definitely found some that did. All right. A prospect should be able to indicate interest or connect with your members in 1 or 2 clicks. In that link in the bio, boop, I will tell you who I am. Your single, clear, compelling narrative or value proposition should be really easy to pick up on. As I look, if I scroll or if I click on some of your archived stories, I should know like what you're about. And most of your clubs are pretty good at this. And it could just be leadership scholarship service or leadership fellowship service, excuse me. But like that's kind of key that I know what you're about. There's a line, there's a couple lines that this line, this is the CKI website, I think. Develop college and university students into a global network of responsible citizens and leaders with a lifelong commitment to service. If you're wondering what to put in your profile, like what to put like in your bio, your Insta bio, it should not be the official profile of this club or this district or whatever your weird CKI language is. It should be a global network of responsible citizens and leaders with a lifelong commitment to service. That should take up most of the characters. That's a really good one. The page should be on brand. It should be on CKI brand, or at least your club's brand. It should look kind of like you know what marketing looks like, and thematically or aesthetically. The user should be able to learn lots about CKI just by exploring your profile. So think about this. If I'm curious about a student organization, one of the first places I'm going to go is Instagram to find out what it's about. And so if I just explore your archive stories, your bio, the link, and your feed, I should get a sense of your primary sales pitch. You should have followers outside of your members and close friends. That's an obvious one and not an easy one to get. One of the best ways to do that is to post content celebrating, especially in your stories, it's an easy way to do it, but celebrating other clubs and student organizations on campus or other individual students on campus, tagging them, and their network then is likely to follow you. They're likely to follow you. And finally, you should be conversational and responsive. One of the biggest trends in social media marketing in 2020 is how conversational is expected. Social media is and I'm talking about like big picture, corporate, cause marketing, social media, digital marketing stuff. The expectation is conversational. The expectation is Wendy's Twitter account that will respond to you no matter what flame you throw at it. They'll respond back. Like that is the expectation, which is unfair because you don't have time to do this. But remember, this is where you live. Instagram is where you live right now. That's where you exist. It is where people can interact with you and learn about you. All right, I'm gonna show you my I'm gonna show you. Oh, somebody's posting some links. I'm just taking people posting them handles right now. Everybody's getting that follower count up. I love it. Keep it up, everybody. That's cool. That's cool. So I wanted to share. I wanted to share. Not this. This is our company's CRM tool. Sorry, I am trying to get off of it. I can't. This is embarrassing. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna stop sharing because I was stuck on it, and I'm gonna share what I actually meant to share. But let me organize it first so it's a little easier. Boom, boom. I'm gonna show you 3 CKI accounts that I just sort of like. One I've been following for a while. I don't know how I got connected with them. It was after a national event last year or something, international event last year, and it was cool. It was not this one, but I liked this one. This is I don't know what this is, school in Panama, I think. I don't know, but I thought their use of archived stories was really cool. I just thought their feed was strong overall. 687 posts. That's a lot of posts for a student organization. And they've got just some nice, consistent branding. I like this because it's in Spanish and I can only, I have to work to read it. I also wanted to give a shout out to their link in their bio. You know what it goes to? What's up, Zoom mates? I just think that's a cool idea, everybody. That's not really recruitment related. I mean, maybe it is. It's a kind of cool story you can tell. And how in a way to reinforce the narrative that you're a global community. But I just liked that was their that was their thing. All right. So when you guys are posting comments, here's what I can't do is switch my tabs while I'm sharing my screen. So just a weird little Zoom flub. All right. This is the account I've been following for a while. I like a lot of what's going on in this CKI Caribbean account. This is the entire Caribbean district, by the way, and I know there are new sort of sub-districts in the Caribbean or whatever. I've been following along, but I like a lot of what they're doing in here. I love their archive stories. I think they do a great job. I like this, a part of the largest collegiate service organization, super simple. I wish this went to a collector of some sort. It doesn't, but that's cool. I just like cool stuff in here. This looks like a place where I could get professional development, for members. So here's the last one that I'll share. This is Carolinas CKI. This is another district one, I think. But here's what I didn't love: the official Instagram for the Carolinas. Like, tell me something here. Tell me something. Give me something. But man, I just loved a lot of these other things. I was looking through some of their archive stories, and they were just really cool. So check this one out. I think they did a great job. Again, super professional. A lot of design work here. Listen, let me be clear. I know a bunch of you are good at Canva or Photoshop or whatever Adobe products you might be good at, but you don't need to. You just do pictures of your members. Picture your members doing service. Do old pictures. Like, doesn't matter. Pictures of like from 20 years ago that you might have access to. Just share pictures, and what you write under the picture, of course, matters as much, if not more, than what the picture is actually. So keep up the good work to these three accounts that I didn't do a whole lot of research. I just did a few minutes to take a peek. Anybody? All right, now if you haven't yet, I'm curious if you've got not only your Instagram handle you want to share, but I'm looking for a couple in the chat feature right now that is an Instagram handle, and we do this really well, this specific thing. So if anybody could share anything like that in the chat feature, I think that'd be kind of cool to look at. And then just, what we're going to do next, I'm going to go to ways to build relationships virtually and kind of get into the real meat and potatoes of recruitment virtually. I want to say, though, as I'm waiting to see if anybody throws anything into the chat feature, I want to say, though, remember all that stuff I talked about building your names list and all the ways to drive names onto your names list. That is where you're going to get the biggest results. You can't recruit who you don't know. And the problem most clubs have is that they just don't know people who they don't already hang out with. And that becomes even harder in a virtual world. So it becomes even more important to really follow those specific recommendations and really focus on, listen, do I have 200 prospective members on a list someplace? If not, I'm probably not ready to get the success that I really want, especially in this virtual environment. Cool, I see some coming in. Everybody check those out. I love it. Alabama CKI, consistent style. I like that. UAB, that must be Birmingham, maybe is what I'm guessing, has a green color scheme. Thanks for sharing that. Missouri, Mizzou is highlighting their members. That's a really, if you're just looking for content, just post a picture of your member and tell something about them. But ideally, here's what you want your member profile things to do. Don't just be like, we love our member because of this, and this is when she's going to graduate, and this is when this is their major. Let them tell their story of their favorite thing about CKI, or let them tell their story about what makes membership worth it, even though it costs time, money, and energy to be a part, even in a virtual environment. The question of what makes it worth it becomes really, really important. Cool. Texas CKI does group photos. Yeah, what's up? SWD CKI, I can't translate that, but your link tree, using a link tree. Again, if you're not using a link tree, this is a super easy shortcut to be able to promote a number of things at the same time. What's up with that? So what is that? I don't know what that last one is. Austin posted something about short videos. Friends, you want some content? Boom, right here. Hey, my name is Matt. I'm a proud member of CKI. We have helped impact our community and the world in some incredible ways. Let me tell you a really short story that is my favorite thing about CKI. Every member posts that under 2-minute video onto your IGTV, onto your website, man. Post that baby everywhere. Content, where we're just constantly telling our story, talking about the value that our organization provides to us and to our community. Sweet. So some people are using Facebook as well. Know your culture, know your community. Twitter might be the thing in your world. I know Instagram is consecutively or consistently across the board the primary place college students are seeking information. But feel free to fill those other social mediums as well. Man, I've been really having some creative luck or some creative success, I should say, with LinkedIn as a cool way to say, listen, this organization improves your potential employment, your employment potential. What am I trying to say? Career. Good for career. Matt can't get words out. This organization is good for your career advancement. One of the ways we prove that is by connecting you with our members immediately on LinkedIn and doing some LinkedIn work. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, we'll help you make one. So anyway, that's kind of a cool place to check too. Good job, everybody. All right, we're going to dive back in to tactical stuff. All right, here's Insta. Let's move past Insta. So best ways to build relationships. All right, so think about the funnel, right? Meet people, record their information, keep recording it, keep it up to date. Invite them to stuff. That probably looks like a text message or a DM or a number of whatever direct contacts you can find. Phone calls, even phone calls. Remember phone calls? Man, people are like, who's that calling? And they won't answer. But then if you text them immediately after and say, hey, my name's Matt. I got your name from Julie. And she said, I just tried to call you. Can we jump on the phone for 5 minutes? They will call you back. Students actually love talking to the phone, as it turns out. They just don't like answering the phone from strangers. So don't be afraid to reach out via phone or find ways to try to connect via phone. All right, so first and foremost, I think student organizations are going to have the highest level of recruitment success this semester if they focus first on interviews and one-on-one meetings or small group meetings. Groups of 7 people or fewer engaging over Zoom, straight up. That's it. Ideally, I think set them up as an interview or set them up as an informational interview, set them up as an info meeting or whatever. And you can call it whatever you want, but what it really looks like is a short, like 20 minutes max conversation via Zoom. Do not overwhelm the prospective member with too many of you. So I always think about a simple equation. Count up the amount of prospective members there are and do not engage them with more than twice that amount of current members. If there's 1 potential member, there's 2 members. 2 potential members, there's no more than 4 members. And that's probably as big as a group should get on a Zoom call, at least for an interview. We're going to talk about virtual events here in a second because I think there's some really cool virtual recruitment events or virtual engagement events that you can use, and I'll share with you my top 10 list. Before we get there though, in recruitment, there are sort of key moments, right? There might be an interview and an event and a formal presentation, informational meeting or whatever. And then there's the time in between. The time in between is where the results are driven. The time in between is where real trust and relationship is built. The time in between is shared with little comments on their social media posts and little texts to them and little quick phone calls. Just, hey, just checking in on you, making sure you're doing all right. I know you had that big test today. I know you had that big paper. Hey, I know you were moving out of the dorms because everybody had to move out of the dorms. Just want to make sure you found your way home. Just checking on you. Not organizational related at all, just personal little touch points. The in-between matters a lot. And then, of course, active and conversational social media. This is you just responding and connecting and being very conversational, realizing that social media is now expected to be a 2-way street, not a 1-way street. And I just love this idea. I don't know if it's right for CKI, but I think it's right for a lot of student organizations. This basic member of a potential member pitch video. Cool, you want to be a member of CKI? We just ask you to record a quick 2-minute video. Does not have to be fancy. It should be you holding your phone, telling us a little bit about yourself and the impact you want to make on the world. Go ahead and maybe fill out an application or a profile form. Don't call it an application, call it a profile form so that we know something about these folks. That helps us with information to follow up with. So it says here you were a part of Young Life. Hey, I was a part of Young Life in high school. Like, that's so cool. I just wanted to follow up with you about that. Hey, I noticed here it says you played rugby. That's cool. I played rugby, actually. We got a member who played rugby. It says here you were a Girl Scout, and that was a really important thing in your childhood. That's so awesome. Actually, we've got some members who are the same thing. Anyway, whatever. That profile form is about so you know something about these folks, but also so you know something about these folks so that you can connect with them. All right. I wanted to share with you I want to share with you a lot of things, but my computer's not letting me advance my slide, which is making me panic a little bit. So everybody, oh God, I don't even know if you're here with me, everybody. I can't do anything on my computer. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to try and join. I'm going to keep talking, assuming you can see me, but who knows at this point. The top 10 ways, top 10 events that I want you to be aware of. I'm going to let you know what those are right now as I try to fix my computer. Oh, this is a panic moment. Everybody, have you had a panic moment on Zoom yet? Top 10 events. One of the first ones to think about is sort of video games, video game tournaments. There's a lot of you who are gamers in one way or another, and you certainly know you can connect with and build relationships with people all across different time zones and all around the world doing that. That's certainly one way to do it. I think similar in sort of the game department, I've got a number of links that I might be able to share with you in a little bit of games that you can play virtually, things like Jackbox, things from the Ellen Show. Have you guys played Psych yet? And Heads Up? Like, these are things that you can play virtually. There are, let's see what else. I'm trying to remember my top 10 ideas. Let's pull it up on my phone. Oh man, I'm having a full-on panic moment, you guys. Let's see if I can get something to get fixed. I don't know if there's anybody out there. Tana, if you're out there, now's a good time to jump off of mute and I don't know, make sure that people are taken care of.
We can, and this is Jeff. We can hear you, Matt.
Great. Can you see me still?
No, we can't see you.
Cool. All right. So I'm gonna keep talking for a minute, but it's not about the slide you're looking at. Everybody, I'm gonna talk about some events and then I'm gonna probably go away and come back. But if everybody can hear me, thanks for sticking with me. Here's an idea. Virtual alumni networking night. So think about a virtual presentation that includes maybe folks from the international office, or sound like this is what your Zoom mates is doing, right? Like includes folks from around the world doing CKI work as part of the presentation to prove that you're a global network of service-minded leaders. I think about virtual sporting event watch parties is a pretty easy concept that we can do just for fun, just for laid back. We're watching the NBA playoffs, or we're watching some major event on television together, or on Netflix for that matter. We're all just watching the same Netflix show together or whatever. I think about obviously online trivia nights or game nights or poker nights. Some other ideas. I think it's really important for every CKI club to have like a formal club presentation night, maybe 2 of those during your primary recruitment time, where you like make it a big deal, dress up, look sharp. And this is kind of the formal informational. This is where you're given the pitch for what CKI is, who our members are, and you bounce to a couple other members and they tell a powerful story, emotional story about how CKI has impacted their life and their community. And then you tell people the next step if they want to get involved. Just, this is simple, right? Like this is the infomercial about CKI. You should probably do 2 of those early in the semester. I think about a shared meal via Zoom. We've got some organizations that we know of that are buying like Grubhub or DoorDash or whatever and having food delivered to some potential members that they're trying to close the deal with. I don't know, that might be something interesting, or just a way to maybe everybody orders Grubhub from the same restaurant. You might want to warn them ahead of time, and then we all jump on Zoom together and we've got we've got a shared moment, a shared meal. Group workout, virtual group workout or group fitness classes is a pretty standard one that a lot of organizations are doing right now. And then obviously, what I said earlier, a virtual service event is kind of a big deal. Like to do CKI work, and really we can involve lots of people and then get them involved, get them to commit afterwards. And then there's a bunch of I mentioned other games or apps that are out there for this. So here's what would be a good idea right now, since you can only hear me. I'm going to try and find a way to get you to see me again, and I'm going to be quiet for a second. Tana, Jeff, like whoever, I could use your help right now. I'd love for folks right now, if you're listening, watching, I'd like you to go into the chat feature, and I'd like you to share 2 or 3 little nuggets of information that have kind of been helpful for you so far. This is a pretty low barrier of entry. I'm not saying things that have blown your mind. Anything that's kind of made a little bit of sense to you so far, I want you to throw it in the chat feature. And then maybe Tana, maybe Jeff, you could chime in while I'm trying to recombobulate myself. You could chime in and just maybe process out some of those things that some of the folks are saying. And now is also a great time. If you've got questions, feel free to start throwing those into the chat feature. And I might look to Jeff or Tana to ask me a couple of those if I am able to, in fact, get back on here. So I'm going to hand it off to you all right now for a moment. I really apologize for whatever's going on. And folks, just share in the chat feature anything that kind of made a little bit of sense to you so far and any questions you've got. Tana and Jeff, thanks for stepping in on me. And I'll be right back, I hope.
Okay. Tana, I can let you take over if you'd like me to do it.
Either way, it looks like we've got some really awesome tips coming in here. I'm also going to take this opportunity to drop a couple of links in the chat for y'all. If you want to copy and paste this onto your personal files or notes or anything that you're taking, these are really helpful. A couple of things that we're doing right now. One big thing, we have a COVID-19 resources folder. So there's definitely a lot of ideas in that if you want to check it out. It's broken down by like fellowship, service, leadership. It's got all kind of great stuff. But yeah, there's a couple of really great ones. Networking Zoom meeting. I love this one. I think that networking in Zoom is a great opportunity, especially for folks who are like really, really far away from each other. Does anyone want to just speak to this? Does anyone have experience that they want to talk about with like networking on Zoom?
You should be able to unmute yourself.
Or anyone who attended the networking event at CKI Next this year and liked it?
I've got nothing. I really like Glimpse that you guys used, and we're actually going to try and incorporate that into some of our district events. I liked it because it was really individually or one-on-one, and so trying to take that back and still having that one-on-one connections at our district events, I think will be important.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, Glimpse is a kind of speed networking platform. It matches you one-on-one with other people in a room for about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It'll give you even like prompts to talk about, and then it'll match you with more people, and you can friend the people after you've matched with them. So it's a super cool platform, and it would be really great for like a interest meeting for Circle K. It's free for rooms that are under 50 people. So definitely check that out. I'll throw the link in here.
It's also a great way to interact with your sponsoring Kiwanis Club.
Yes.
That's right. Absolutely. I see people there, a link tree in virtual event ideas, raffles, Netflix parties. I'm just reading some of the comments. I know Matt's back on, so.
I am. Thanks. I'm on my phone now, and I think I'm going to join on my computer here in a second.
Okay. Emmy wrote, making a list of the talents and interests of our members and a list of causes that they care about, trying to see how we can use our talent and resources to help causes we care about. Sometimes that means a musical person who is passionate about helping children, teaching music lessons, or someone who grows houseplants that we can sell to benefit the food bank in town. Great idea.
Another great idea that I've heard is giving out service kits. So if your club still wants to do service together, they can put together like blanket making kits or like sanitation kits that are not assembled yet, but for members to assemble or make and distribute on their own. And then they would do the activity all together on Zoom.
Great.
I'm in two places at once right now. I don't know if anybody can see that. I've got multiple camera angles. This just got high tech, you guys. Have there been any questions that have popped up, Tana or Jeff, that I could address right now?
I saw one pop up for you, Matt. Annabelle Carter asked, hi, so Mizzo is a huge university with over 800 clubs, and they struggle getting noticed since there's so many organizations that incoming freshmen can join. She was wondering if you had any tips about how to draw more potential members there without getting lost in other organizations.
Yeah, that's such an important question. I think that only reinforces, especially to Mizzou, right? Like there's, it's so big, even in person, it's so big. And now online, it's just thousands of Zoom windows, right? Like just huge and overwhelming. And I think that's, I don't know a better recommendation other than really focusing on a very personal approach. this trying to get noticed in a sea of organizations that are all about leadership, fellowship, and something similar. Good luck, right? You're going to have a really big flag to get noticed. I think the only way to get noticed is to reach out to Tana and to Joey and to be like, Tana, Joey, like, what are you guys, what are you interested in? Like, how are you? I'm guessing you're probably interested in serving or making some impact on campus. What does that look like for you? And it has to be individual. Let me be clear. That is much harder than setting up a table and hoping people walk by and join, which could have worked, in the past. It probably did work for a lot of your clubs in the past. We just can't do it. But I think the result will be, if we choose to take a very personal approach, the result will be members who are more engaged, who are more committed, who are like connected in a real way. I believe that there are some Circle K clubs who have struggled with apathy from a large portion of their members because people joined to do service. People like saw your flyer and walked down the student org fair. It was like, service, good, I'll do that. Because you guys, I signed up for the, what was it? The electric car making club when I was a freshman. I was a communications major. I had no business signing up for that club, but they were nice to me. And I'm like, okay, like, sure. No kidding. It was the first table that I went to and in the student org fair when I was a freshman. I remember it so clearly. I remember the conversation. I remember being like, wow, electric car making, that sounds neat. And I'm just a eager freshman, like, sign me up. And then I looked around, I was like, oh my God, there's 299 other organizations in here. I better not spend all that time at every table. But it was 1996, and I'll be damned if I wasn't on that listserv for a solid 8 years, not 4 years, 8 years. I just I was on the list, right? How many members do you have like that who walked by? And I think that's because they walk by your table and they're like, service is nice. I'm nice. I guess I should sign up. And I think this personal approach it is definitely more work. Let me be clear, but I think it's going to result in more engagement and more retention and, I don't know, members that are like in it, members who do Circle K. That was a fun question. I haven't told that story in a long time. That was a weird story to tell. I don't know. Anybody got anything else? What other questions you got?
One really interesting thing someone from my club just said was, our university has over 600 plus clubs. We just had our virtual student org fair, and a lot of clubs didn't pop on, but Circle K did. And that made a difference. We had like 30 prospective members reach out about it. I think that speaks to a really big part about Circle K. We have a lot of really passionate members who want to keep this going. And so don't give up is, I think, a number one sentiment here. Matt, there's another question in the chat that says, is there any advice about how you can mold a member base out of mostly new freshmen who are psyched about CKI?
So my computer froze again, or your computer froze again, or I don't know, something weird happened. But I heard the last part of that question. And I'm going to answer the last part of that question. Is there any way we can mold a member base out of just a small group of freshmen? Yeah. You guys want to know one of my favorite things to do is to build a new college student organization. It's one of my favorite things to do because there's a big difference between a joiner and a creator. Some of you might be founding members of your club. I bet that's true for somebody listening in here. And what I know is that somebody who starts something, I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm a bit biased. I've started several companies and I'm real proud of myself and I think I'm neat. But I think somebody who wants to start something, their level of buy-in to that thing is significantly higher than somebody who gets asked, do you want to join my thing? Right? Because I've got to later adopt it because it's yours. So the difference between a creator and a joiner is a big thing. And I think this is applicable to all clubs listening. And I want your pitch to be, instead of, will you join Circle K International? I'd like it to be, will you help us create the future of the way service is done for our community and our world through Circle K? And then immediate question, if the answer is yes, cool. Like, what do you want to create? Like, help me vision. Help me dream with me right now. Every new member we attract and secure like the first question should be, all right, I'm going to get out my whiteboard. By the way, that's my favorite investment, my favorite COVID-19 investment I've made. It's in my closet right now, but I didn't buy toilet paper when this pandemic hit, and I should have. I didn't buy face masks. We were too late for the hand sanitizer and the Lysol wipes, that still aren't in stores. You know what I did buy though? A whiteboard, because I knew I was going to be on Zoom a lot. And so one of my favorite things to do is just pull up my whiteboard, and like it's old school. I'm writing on a whiteboard while people are watching. And I'm telling you, that's the first thing you should do with your newest members. Cool. I got a whiteboard. Let's dream. Let's brainstorm. Let's imagine, so that they can be a part of creating, so that they can be a part of molding what you're trying to do. That's a fun question. Don't even know if I answered a question that was asked, but that's what I think I heard, so I went for it.
I think that was good. Does anyone else have questions they want to put in the chat? Or just unmute yourself and ask.
Yeah.
Okay, UMDCKI is making a video for recruitment. Do you have any really good do's and don'ts for recruitment videos?
Oh, yeah. Oh, fun. Yes. Yes, I do. Great. Let me get into it. You need a clear narrative, like a single pitch. Every club on earth is about leadership, scholarship, service, and fellowship. You all know this already, right? Literally, there are 300 student organizations that are about all of those things, and you guys are nailing 3 of them. So as soon as you lead with, join CKI in a world where you wanted to be a leader, and you wanted fellowship, and you wanted to serve, CKI, no, nobody cares. Like that is, you look like a dime a dozen. You need a single compelling narrative. And my recommendation is global network of service-minded leaders. That's too long. Global is what you need to lock into. And the more you can tell the story of how you're a part of something that goes way beyond Mizzou, way beyond University of Alabama, way beyond Birmingham, way beyond the Capital District, way beyond the Caribbean, you're saying tell the story. We're a part of something big, baby. And we are making an impact on the world. This is not about cleaning up the sidewalk, cleaning up the highway, which we are proud to do, and we humbly adopted that stretch of roadway on the way into campus. I'm sure you saw it on the sign. This is about global impact. So pick a story. If it's not that, that's fine, but pick a story. And then make a video under 3 minutes. Over 3 minutes is ridiculous. Under 2 minutes is what you're aiming for. People are going to probably stop watching at about the 2 minute and 15 second mark. Have it feature faces, but not like, hi, I'm Matt, and I like Circle K because, not like, me on a black background and being like, not dramatic. Show yourself doing your work. I think a voiceover, I don't know what level of production value we're talking about. I'm going to assume pretty low. Show a voiceover, string together some B-roll, and that voiceover is telling the clear, compelling narrative. And most importantly, at the end of that video, call to action that tells people what to do to say that they're interested in helping. If that call to action isn't in there, you just wasted all the time and energy you put into that movie, into that little video. And then post that video all over the place. Pay for ads for that video to run for your target audience. By the way, it doesn't cost a lot for Instagram ads. That's why I can recommend that to pretty much everybody. Put that in front of everybody over and over and over and over. That is your commercial. You don't need 12 commercials. You need 1 commercial. You ever notice how Super Bowl commercial comes out and it's the only thing you see for 6 months? That's fine. That's not because it's the only thing that company can afford. It's because that's all you need. You need a single story that is repeated over and over. That's a fun question. Probably got 1,000 other ideas around videos.
Thank you so much.
Many of you know that a large part of my clientele is college fraternities and sororities, and the college Panhellenic sorority world, boy, do they know how to do videos, but they mess it up. They spend billions of dollars on these big flashy videos and 0 people care because they're not about connection and they're not about meeting the needs of the students in a way. And they also don't say anything. They're like, we're fun and we're a club and you should join us. And then people are like, neat, next, what else you got, right? You got to have something to say, be about something. You do, Circle K does. What else?
We had a question from Jessica Lee asking, what virtual events do you recommend? So I guess that would probably play into, like, for recruitment, maybe the first event, what would you recommend for clubs to put on?
Yeah. Can you guys still hear me right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to keep asking because I'm going to try my best to share this screen. Because I really just want to share with you what I was trying to share with you earlier, but it didn't let me. Okay, everybody, can you hear me? Yes, everybody. Feel like you can hear
We
me.
can hear you. We can
Feel
hear
like
you.
I haven't died yet. That's good. Oh, actually, can somebody give me screen sharing opportunity again here? If possible, I could share my screen. That'd be dope. Meanwhile, ooh, hack. I got a hack, you guys. Here we go. Everybody check the chat feature. Okay. This is the slide, the content I just copy and pasted the content from my slide into the chat feature. I was going through these before, but I was also all flaky because I couldn't tell if I was live or not. So what I wanted to share with you, these are my top 10 recommended virtual recruitment events. Literally, these are the virtual recruitment events. And the big one is virtual service events is actually one of the recruitment events. So that's the first thing I want to say. I think to talk about what virtual service events to do, I want to ask the crowd right now to put in your chat feature. It looks like some people are doing it. Put in the chat feature your recommendations. I think the easy thing to think about is local is the easiest place to start, right? There are causes that your club has supported for years that are out there struggling right now because they don't have volunteers, they don't have donations, they don't have people helping them with things. They just, and they need, somebody's got to ask them, like, how can we help right now? I think local is the place to start, but global is the place to shine. So the question becomes to the international office, like what international campaigns or events or initiatives can I tap into to support? How can I partner with multiple clubs? This is the cool thing. I can now partner with clubs on the other side of the world or on the other side of the country, on the other side of my state, because they got a good idea. Now I want to help with it. More people, more impact. So I'm not the service guy. I'm the recruitment guy. I'm not the guy who's going to give you the best service event idea. I did Google that a couple days ago. It wasn't even for this. It was just because I'm recommending virtual service events as a recruitment event for nearly every student organization I've worked with. And like when you Google it, I don't think there's good information out there just yet. There's a couple resources that you can tap into that I think are helpful. But here's what I want to say. I'm the guy who teaches social excellence and the power of networking. Use your network to not only find, but actually do service together. And I think that's where there's just incredible power in this virtual moment. This moment that we didn't have before. We didn't think this way before. Now, I'm like, well, why wouldn't I reach out to the folks in the Caribbean or in the Capital District or in Panama or in California? Why wouldn't I reach out to them? And why wouldn't I help them with their service work? Because some of them are probably figuring it out. Hannah just posted a Google Doc. I'm guessing that's an important Google Doc with some ideas in there. I don't know what it is, but I'm guessing that's what it is. So it's about 7:10. I have delivered the bulk of the content that I came here to deliver to you all. And I'm prepared to just continue talking and answering questions. I'm sorry about the tech difficulty. I don't know what happened, but welcome to 2020, huh?
Matt, you should have screen sharing capabilities again now.
Thanks. Who knows if it'll... Oh yeah, there is one other thing I wanted to share. Okay, I'm worried my computer is not gonna like me. Here's the last thing I wanted to share. I wrote this blog the other day, and I kind of really believe in it. And I touched on a couple of the things. I touched on Be Extra early in our call, and I touched on the reverse friendship flow early in our call. But I want us to remember all the tactics we're talking about and all the service event planning that like we get focused on. What I know about CKI leaders is many of you are like me. You are task-oriented people. You like to do things. You like to check boxes. You like to say you did a thing. And I like that too. And sometimes I forget that none of that matters if I'm not focused on humans, right? As a leader, as a CEO and president of a company, I'm really good at sending out to-do items. I'm not really good at picking up the phone and calling the people who are probably struggling or who are frustrated or who just need a phone call. And so maybe that's an important reminder is through all of this, remember that recruitment is done by people and is done with people. And we have to stay focused on human connection. We have to stay focused on being socially excellent. I'd vote for that over any of the tactics that I recommended. Be more human. Listen, in a world that is riddled with reasons, that is riddled with evidence that our humanity is being stripped from us, and especially certain populations and certain identities. And this is a moment where we have to be human in a new way. We have to show up with our hearts. We have to show up more often in people's inboxes and phone calls and faces. Like, we've got to care. We've got to do the little things. We got to send the follow-up note, send snail mail. We got to check in on people. We got to remember when somebody's parent's birthday is, or somebody's anniversary of some important moment of their life is. We got to reach out for those things. I say that because I'm not good at any of those things. That is not my modus operandi. That is not the stuff that I normally spend my time thinking about, but I know it's the stuff that matters right now. And as you engage your club members, remember that it's not just about checking the box or having the meeting or doing the thing. It is about having that all be filled with the humanity that makes, that is what Circle K is about and what the Kiwanian family has always been about. I'm inspired by Circle K. I love you all. I love the work that you do. I love how much you care. I love the leaders, the international level leaders I get to work with, because they are some of the most dogged question askers, and they're critical thinkers. And I know that they're also just like students trying to figure things out. And I know all of you are. You're all just real students trying to really figure things out, trying to navigate this weird moment in our life that we're all trying to navigate together. So check out that blog if you have a chance. I believe in it, and share it if you don't mind. I think there's a good reason to. There's some other videos that you can check out that are linked at the top of that blog, and other resources that are related. Unless there's other conversations or questions you got, I say we adjourn this meeting and go on with our life. And maybe everybody, your action item from here is to do two things. Number one, gather your club's workhorses and plan a meeting to get together to figure out how you're going to fill your funnel and how you're going to build relationships. And number two, send a text message of love out to your members or out to individual members who need to hear a real human in their life tonight. Everybody, this was a delight, an absolute delight. Jeff, Tana, Joey, anybody else, you need anything else from me?
Appreciate your time. And again, we will post this on our various social media channels. So if you missed it or want to go back and get some other inspiration, you can do that. And I'm sure Matt's going to share the actual PowerPoint, even the slides you didn't see with us. So we'll get that out to you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff, look for an email in your inbox with the slides and some links and some things that you can share with everybody who participated. Everybody, thank you so much, man. Can't wait to watch the recording of this presentation in the moment when I start to panic and fall off the rails. And all of you probably just started commenting like, what is wrong with this guy? Anyway, thanks for your grace and your patience, everybody. I love Circle K. Everybody have a good night.
Thanks, Matt. One more plug for.
Wait, you're muted.
I don't believe that. I think that's what it is. And that's all you got. But you don't know lead. You're just thinking like how you think, but everybody doesn't think.
Thank you guys. So copy and paste those. Thank you guys all so much for coming. If you want to hang out afterwards, I think there will probably be a couple people sticking around. So thank y'all.
Bye.
Sometimes all the gross things that teenage boys do. But it's different. This is not baby. This is Grayson.